You know, really getting into freestyling and rapping and writing, and then just after that, like it was just once I got into high school. Once I got into high school, it was just hip hop from there. I mean, I seen somebody in high school. Shout out to my boy Ancoma Farr. In high school they used to do this thing on a table where they used to do beats on the table, and people would just used to freestyle and battle each other. But it wasn't really battling because this was before like the whole battle rap thing. So it was just freestyling, talking junk to each other. Let's say, just talking. You know what I'm saying? Just saying little jokes or whatever, what have you. And I went up to this kid. He was so nice, and I was like, "Yo." At that time, I really hadn't jumped out of my shell as a writer, and I was just doing it just on my own real quick. But I came up to him and I was like, "Yo, give me a week and I'll be better than you." And of course he was like, "Yeah, right, whatever, da da da." But a week later, I got up in front of everybody in the school, you know, him included, and I started spitting with him, and the rest is really history, man. I wasn't really better than him, but you know, at that point we recognized how nice I was, and we just ran with it from there. You know what I'm saying?
So at this time, had
And
you
I, and I
written your first rhyme already, or this was like
oh
okay?
yeah,
So when did
oh
you start
yeah.
writing your rhymes at first? Like how old were you?
Like I said, I always had like, you know, I don't know. When I was a kid, I always had like a notebook. You know what I'm saying? So I always just wrote stuff in there, whatever. It could have been rhymes, it could have not been rhymes, just ideas or whatever. But I had a rhyme from when I was mad young that I used to spit wherever I went. So I already had that down, but I never spit it in front of nobody, or I never spit it like, you know what I'm saying? Like I'm a rapper now, like I'm gonna spit this or whatever. I just kind of just came up with some new off the cuff stuff at that time, and then after that, it was just I forgot about all the old stuff. I didn't even care about the old stuff. I just wanted to keep going with new stuff.
You still remember the rhyme?
The rhyme is like, it's like, hey yo, hey yo. I rhyme like I'm overdosing, overloading components with a half a zone of potent, and that's just for the smoking. I'm focused. Look, I ain't trying to be the dopest. I'm chosen to lead my soldiers in the battle, armored up on their horses. Of course, it's the remorse is some morbid. Check the performance. I need me a corner office plus a portion of fortress, something like that. You know what I'm saying?
Wait, what age are you that you wrote that? Because that seems pretty complex for a kid to write.
I would say I was like probably like shit 10 when I wrote that shit, like 10 years old.
Wow, that's better than some adult rhymes.
But at that time, like I said, at that time though, I was in the city, so we had like like hip hop was a lot different back then.
Right.
So we had a group of people. It was me and three of my friends, and we was when I spit that, my friends would you know what I'm saying, be the hype man for it. So it wasn't like it was like a collective with that we wrote it together. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. So when hip hop was a little bit different, when we was coming up, when we was doing little things, it was niggas that what we was doing the ciphers. It was a little bit different.
Yeah,
Nowadays, I don't really see. Nowadays, I don't really see too many ciphers. How ciphers was. You know what I'm saying? So it would be my crew, and we would go to a cipher, and we would spit what we had came up with collectively. To you know what I'm saying? That's how it was. So it wasn't like I just came up with that at the time on my own or whatever. It was like a collective rhyme, but I would use that rhyme everywhere because it was so dope to me at that time.
Yeah, and I want to bring up back to what you were talking about with like the lunch tables, right? When they used to bang on the lunch tables and you was spitting your best rhyme or battling, like that's like one of the purest forms of hip hop.
Oh yeah.
If you came up in that, bro, like that's when it was like amazing, you know?
I mean that to me was what made me really fall in love with it because
Exactly.
because of just how the people just gathered around for it. It was just the crowd reaction to what they were saying, and I was just like, yo, I could say some shit. You know what I'm saying? Like, and once you start getting that and getting into it, and then really be like, for me, it took the place of yeah, it was cool. It was cool to have the crowd and everything like that, but I really wanted to put a message behind it. So I really went the way of like trying to become more of a lyricist rather than
Mm.
just a hype rhymer or something like that. I wanted to become something with a message.